Hi, everybody. We're expecting about 10 people, or 10 people have signed up, and we've got 8, but we'll make a start because we said we'll start at 9, so I want to do just that. Just to let you know that we are recording this webinar, just so that if people can't attend today, that they can watch it. Thank you to everybody for joining, especially if this is your first digital webinar. But looking at the names, I can see there's quite a few people that were on some of the webinars yesterday, so thank you for coming back, and hopefully that they proved useful. For those of you that this is your first one, you might not be necessarily aware that we employed Rachel yesterday, employed Rachel on Friday to help develop capacity in the central team with all things digital. So I'm going to pass over to Rachel, if you're okay, just to do a sort of quick intro and then into Edpuzzle.
Yep. Good morning, everyone. My name's Rachel. I'm originally from Australia. I was a classroom teacher in Year 2 there, and then sort of have been leading on computing and digital learning for 3 years in the UK now. So I'm excited to be taking you through Flipgrid this morning. So what I'm going to ask you to do first is to join my classroom. That will just make it easier for me to sort of share the resources with you, but also so that you can actually experience it as a student before I then get you on to actually go ahead and create your own. So I'm just going to share my screen. Go. So if you just want to go to either classroom.google.com or use the apps launcher and go on to Classroom. And then just simply join a class using that plus sign in the top right corner and then enter in that class code there. Fantastic. So I can see that most of you have already joined the class. So you'll notice that in classwork that I've put in the link to go to Edpuzzle. So if you want to just have that open ready on another split screen so that you can both see what I'm doing within the Meet as well as having Edpuzzle open at the same time. This will make it really easy to be able to work through. So I'm going to show you what it looks like once you have logged in to Edpuzzle. So you'll notice here that depending on what subject you select as a teacher, it's going to come up with your main content sort of ideas in terms of what's trending. And then it comes down to trending in England and then the UK. And you'll notice that on the left-hand side that it's then broken down into curriculum. So Edpuzzle has lots of content videos that are already created that you can use. So you can go into elementary and then go through some of the content that's available here. So there's already pre-made lesson content and videos that are there ready to use. And you'll notice that there's these little 8 with that sort of point there at the end. These refer to the amount of either questions that are ready-made within those videos or notes that might take place within them. So any of these means that they're already pre-made and ready to go. If, for example, looking at these two videos here, they don't have any. So that's just worth noting that if you are looking for any resources that are ready-made with questions and prompts, they are always a really helpful way to use there because you've got that information there. So if I go ahead and select one, so for example, Introduction to Fractions, you'll see that when I go on to this video, that down the bottom, there are all of these questions that are going to appear when I get up to that part of the video. So you can see here, it comes up with a multiple choice question, and then I need to respond to that question before the video will continue to play. So as a student, then I'd have to select the correct answer. So we've just got one for this one, and then I'm just going to tap on submit, and then it's going to give me that instant feedback at the top there. And when I tap on continue,
you can see we only have one piece of pizza. So we'll put a 1 above the line. Now, what is this number on top of the line called?
And then again, that video is going to stop and then ask me for another question, another response. And again, I'm going to pop the answer in and then tap on submit. And you'll see here that if I enter the answer incorrectly, again, it's going to direct me to the correct answer that I missed. And you can also set that up to have specific response as well.
The top number is called the numerator.
I'm just going to stop that there. You'll see that for this one, they are all multiple choice questions that I can use. But I'm going to jump back because whilst obviously there are lessons there ready to use, you can also search by a specific subject. So if you wanted to look, for example, for science videos, you can filter by there as well as date. But you've also got lots of content in the National Geographic that, again, you can search through, as well as TED Talks and Khan Academy, which have a lot of great education videos that are ready-made and created. But you can also go in to YouTube and go and search for a specific video that you're looking for. So, for example, Anzac Day is coming up, so I might search for an Anzac video, and then I can just easily select that video. And again, you'll notice that there's a banner at the top here. So if you can't find a certain video, you can use the link there as well and paste that in there, and that will allow you to use a particular YouTube video if you can't find it when you search for here. And then all you need to do is just tap on edit. This will bring that video up for you to use, and this allows you to cut your video. So if the video is too long and you only want a small section of it, you can do that as well directly through here. As well, you might decide to have your own voice going over the video rather than using the narration that's done within the video. So you can actually use start recording and explain through certain parts of it, or re-record the entire video if you like. And then you can go into questions. Now, this is probably the key part of using Edpuzzle, is that obviously with a lot of you that you have been recording video lessons, there's no way to sort of check in and ask questions during a lesson. But with Edpuzzle, what you can do is you can actually take those lessons that you've been making or that you've recorded, and you can easily upload that into Edpuzzle. And then you can add in either multiple choice questions, open-ended questions, so that you can actually gather in those responses. And you can also add in sort of notes or prompts to come up, either to clarify some information or to just simply add in some additional information there. And when you play that video, that's then when you would add in. So I might start with a simple note and start to say, And then I can tap on save. You'll also note at the top that I can add a link in. So if I wanted the students to go to some specific website, maybe, for example. So I might use the Australian War Memorial. I can just right click, copy that link address. And if I come back here, I can then simply link that. And tap OK. So I've got that link there, so I can actually direct the students to go to that to read some more information after watching the video, or I might say, please go and check this out before starting the video. I can also add in an image if I wanted to have that there. And I can also do this using just a voice as well. So I can allow my microphone. Anzac Day is approaching. Watch this video to learn more about the history and importance of it. So that will also then have that audio instruction so that this is more accessible to all of my learners as well. And then all I need to do is tap on save. And then I might play the video. So that that note's going to appear straight away there.
Anzac Day, held on the 25th of April.
So I might just jump back a couple of seconds and then add in a multiple choice question and say, when is Anzac Day? And I can then specify and I can put in the correct answer, and I could decide to give it feedback and just simply say, well done. And again, I can add in multiple answer options as well. And you'll see that that feedback then comes up after answering those questions. And I could jump ahead to another part of that video there.
War. Anzac stands for Australian and New Zealand Army.
So again, that's going to go through some content. So I'm just going to jump back and then add in an open-ended question. And for this one, I'm not going to make it a multiple choice question, but I'm going to leave it open-ended so that that will actually tell me if my students know what that means. And then again, I can pop that feedback in if I wanted to. Again, I've always got that option to add a link into additional information as well. So I can just save that. So you'll see here that I've now added a note, a multiple choice question, and then an open-ended question there. I can obviously continue to work through that entire video, adding in points. I might even just decide to only add in maybe one at the start as a sort of lesson prompt. And then I might even decide to add a ending one to get students to sort of share. So for example, I might jump to the end of my video and use an open-ended question and say, please share 3 things you learned about Anzac Day. And then again, I might use the feedback option as a way to direct my learners what they're going to do next. And again, I can just simply add in that link. Just like so, and then tap on save. So that's going to then appear at that end of the video. Once that's finished, all I need to do is tap on finish at the top there. And then all I need to do is then assign this to my class. So I can simply just add a new class. So one of the benefits of using Google Classroom is that I can then tap on that there. Just going to tap on yes. and continue. Ooh, that hasn't come through. Let's try again. So then it'll ask you to select your account and just press on allow. And then I can quickly select from my class that I want to assign it to, and then tap on import class. And then all I need to do, so once all of my classes are imported in, I can then simply tap on Edpuzzle and select assign. So at this stage, now I can see that I've got all of my students in the class, and you'll notice that underneath the bottom that I can actually track and see which of my students have watched that video, and then when was the last time they watched it as well, and then if they turned it in as well. So that's sort of just gives me that option there to view it. Oh, it's just disconnected. I apologize. Sorry for that. Perfect. So you'll see at the bottom here that at the end of the video underneath, that you can see the students. And this is really helpful to be able to see when the students have watched the video, as well as whether they actually watched the entire video through. So if I'm wanting to actually see, have they accessed my lesson for the day, that I can do that there as well. You'll notice on the right-hand side of the video that I can specify the start date and the due date for that video as well. And one of the key benefits of using Edpuzzle for delivering lessons is that you can actually turn on prevent skipping. And what this means is that students won't be able to jump through watching your video like they would if you simply just share the link to watch a video on YouTube, for example. So that prevents skipping. Once that's turned on, it means that you won't be able to jump through. You have to watch the entire video, and you do have to answer those questions as well. Also, always helpful to make sure closed captions is turned on. This basically means that students can have that ability to turn that on. And then all I'd need to do is tap on Post on Google Classroom. And that assignment has then been posted to Google Classroom. So if I just jump back into Classroom now, you'll see that the stream has been updated. So I can simply tap on Show, and that assignment has now appeared in there. And if I just tap on Instructions, you'll see that when I then click to open that video up, that video's then appeared. And if I simply tap on play, you'll see that that has then prompted me with my note on the side here. Oh, I can see another question's just come through. Yes, it will. Because the video is embedded through Edpuzzle. So again, I can simply phone. Anzac Day is approaching. Watch this video to learn more about the history and importance of it. And you'll know that I can't even skip through that audio instruction as well. So that's always worth noting, that any instructions that you give verbally, that they won't be able to jump through those once that skip option's on. And again, if I try and tap to jump through and skip through that video, it's not going to give me that option. So that's a really big benefit there of using Edpuzzle. Now, that's obviously one thing that I can do when I'm using it, is to actually go and find content that's already pre-made for me. But what I can also do is I can actually go and record my own videos. So I could go and do a screencastify and then upload those videos as well. So if you tap on my content, if I just very quickly tap on screencastify and tap on record, So this is Edpuzzle. If I want to choose any of the videos, I can simply tap on one of the content areas and I can select a video that I might be looking for, either using the Edpuzzle content or maybe going into, for example, the National Geographic. I can then take a video. So let's take the solar system, and then tap on edit. I can then go into questions and add in a multiple choice question. And actually, I might even just do that as an open-ended question and simply tap on save. And then I'd simply tap on finish. And I want to make sure that I then assign this to my class. And when I go to assign it, I then simply select my class that's been imported through Google Classroom. And I want to make sure that prevent skipping is turned on. And I can use that post to Google Classroom, which means that I don't need to do anything more. And then I can simply tap assign. Oh, okay, so that's just stopped me from recording. But once that video is then created there, I can then jump into Edpuzzle and then go into my content and then add content. And you'll see on the side here that I can either create a video or upload a video. And then I can go ahead and select that video file and upload it directly there. Fantastic question. Matthew just asked, when creating a live lesson, if people aren't using Classroom, can you share it? That's a really great tool there. So for that, all you need to do, so if I just come back to content and view the content that I've already done. So for example, if I select this video here, when I tap on assign, rather than simply selecting to post it to Google Classroom, what I can do is I can tap on public links at the top here, and then I can use the embed code. So you've already got your distance learning site set up. So I can simply just copy that link there. And if I very quickly just show you in sites.new, obviously, this would be where you'd go to your distance learning site and share this directly. So in sites.new, I'd simply then use embed and then embed code, paste that embed in, give it a moment, and then tap on insert. And you'll see that that video has now been added. Those question prompts appear at the bottom of my screen there. And if I preview that site in live view of what the site will look like when it's finished there, I can simply tap on play. And you'll see that those questions will still appear within. Again, I'm still going to need to list Anzac Day is approaching. Watch this video to learn more about the history and importance of it. And again, tap on continue. And those
Anzac
questions
Day
are going to jump on.
On the 25th of April, meeting fierce resistance from the Ottomans.
Now, because when I've set this one, I didn't turn off skipping, you'll notice that I can jump through. So always just make sure that when you do set it up, that you go ahead and make sure you select don't skip. So what I'd love you all to do now is to go on to Edpuzzle. If you haven't already, you'll need to sign up. So if you haven't used Edpuzzle, when you use that link in Google Classroom, you'll be able to sign up. and then sign up as a teacher. Just make sure when you do, you use your Google sign-in option so that you can easily set up your account, and then either find one of the content videos that's already created and has questions, or go ahead and select a video and add in your own questions. And then feel free to either unmute yourself or pop any questions in the chat, and I'll be happy to help you through setting up your first lesson in Edpuzzle. Chloe, yes. So rather than having it so that opens up through there, all you'd want to do is on your video, again, just going down and selecting, let's just make that full screen for a second, selecting assign, and then using public links, and then simply just copying that link there so that they can access it that way. So if I've copied that link, if I just go into a new window and then paste that there, that video is then going to come up through that screen there. And as well, you can choose to make videos both private or public. So once you've actually set up that video, whether you want to make it public or private is another option as well there. So I wanted to mention as well that there are a lot of online professional developments as well that use the Edpuzzle videos, and it just highlights just how easy it is to sort of set up these videos. So you might like to go on and work through some of these certifications that you can do as well. They are based on the time because they have set it up that you can't skip through those videos. So just something worth noting, but you'll see that there's varying different levels and ideas that you can use there. As well. So if you're looking at from sort of Google Classroom level or even just going through the basics of getting started, that you do have that option to use those there as well. So I will pop that in the chat. Otherwise, if you have been able to create a Edpuzzle lesson, if you can put it in the chat so I can have a look at what you've been able to do, that would be awesome as well. Otherwise, feel free to pop the link to your Edpuzzle in the classroom as well. Feel free to unmute your mic and ask questions or drop them in the chat. So Sam, if you found that's the video, if you want to then go ahead and add in those questions to the video now. So actually setting up those questions once you've found a good video is always really helpful, because then you actually get to see just how easy it is to add those questions in or add those sort of lesson prompts as well. Does anyone need me to go through adding in the questions again or searching for specific content? How to assign it through Classroom? Yeah, Sam, so all you need to do there is for your specific content that you want to assign, just tap on Assign, select the class that you want to assign it to, and then on that right-hand side of the screen there, select when it is that you want to assign it for, and then specify the specific time as well. So say, for example, 9 o'clock, and then whether you want that to post onto Google Classroom, you can do that so that it will assign it. And if I then jump back into Google Classroom there, you'll see that that hasn't then been added to my Google Classroom yet, and that won't appear until that specified date there. And you can see as well, you can see as well there that that has appeared within Google Classroom, showing that scheduled date. But if I've decided suddenly, actually, I want to share that directly with my students now within Google Classroom, I can then simply just tap onto it and remove that schedule or change the scheduled date there. So that Edpuzzle integration does work straight away through there. Otherwise, if you're all feeling quite confident, please feel free to go. Otherwise, I will be here sticking around for any questions that you might have. You're welcome. Ellen, Nikki, are you both okay?
Yeah, just having a go. I'm just assigning it to Classroom. Thank you. It's been really good.
No worries. You're welcome. Yep. Nikki, let me just share my screen again. So all I need to do to share it then is just to tap on, so on my video, if I just come back, for example, to this video here, I just use a sign down the bottom, and then I can either select the class if I want to push it directly to Google Classroom. Otherwise, I simply use the public links, and I'd copy the Embed Code link, and that's where I then paste it onto my Google site there. So I just use embed and then embed code. That then pastes into there, and I tap on next and then insert. You're welcome.